What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out Hobo Tough Life. This is kind of an open-world survival homeless RPG with base building, a bunch of other stuff going on, and it really adds up to be more than the sum of its parts. It's a game that, I checked it out for like an hour before recording my last video on it, which you guys will never see, by the way, because, I've played the game a lot more now, and it's kind of got me hooked. And so I decided to do a re-record, sort of, talking about my thoughts about this game, and also showing off the gameplay, because actually it turns out to be a really, really good game. I streamed it over on Twitch TV for an entire day, and was just sort of enthralled with it. The game doesn't look that great, and for all intents and purposes, I had a feeling that it was going to kind of be... There's so many of these Sims that come across my desk that have, outdated graphics, and they're shoe cobbler sim, or, pizza delivery guy sim. There's so many of them, and, universally, they are almost all bad. But in the case of Hobo Tough Life, this is actually a pretty cool RPG, and I don't think anything like it has ever actually been made. So anyways, we're going to dive on into the game. We're going to spend about 30 minutes with it here today, talking about it, taking a look at it, seeing if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list. If after watching this you did want to add it to your wish list, you can absolutely do that at the link down below in the description. That's going to be next to my Twitch TV link, just in case you wanted to check out that VOD and get a longer, uncut, sort of uncensored 4-hour, 5-hour play of me playing it. Fair warning, that is me kind of learning the game and really diving into it. So it's a little bit rough and choppy until I figure out the basics. But I think this game is pretty cool. You can also check out my Discord down below. So let's go ahead and create a game. As of right now, there's only one hobo that I can choose from. I don't know how you unlock the other hobos. I assume you unlock them by winning with this hobo. Generally, we're going to make a new game here. I'm going to host over on this side, and then we're going to go over here, and then we're just going to rename this LP, there we go, the old school name, and this is just for me. This game is absolutely multiplayer. You can play it with your friends, so you can run around and make your own, homeless gang if you wanted to do so. And so, if you wanted to bring some friends on into the loneliness and the starvation, you can do that. The game is actually meant to be played by multiple people. You may have better luck that way, in all honesty, just because it's a force multiplier. So let's start the game on off, and there's our guy right there. He's a common, everyday hobo. Just like the thousands of others of his kind, he doesn't dare have a hope for a bright future. Every new day is a blessing. He just needs to hang in there. Hang in there we shall. So here we are at the beginning of the game. They start us off with a quest that's going to take us into kind of an extended tutorial. The thing is, by the time you get that far into the tutorial, there's a good chance you will have starved and died. That was kind of a problem that I ran into, is that the tutorial, you don't start out with a map or anything, so you've got to kind of wander around to find what you're looking for. And by the time you find all the characters and everything that are important, you might run into some problems. This game does have a number of quests, a bunch of quests that you can work on. But ultimately, the goal is this. This game functions on a 30-day cycle. Ooh, we got some junk and textiles right there. Nice. This game functions on a 30-day cycle. On day 15, there's going to be a cataclysmic winter that you need to be prepared for, otherwise you freeze to death. And then the game ends on day 30, with the goal of you becoming the Beggar King. That's the goal, is that you have an election among, the Council of Beggars, and you become the King of the Beggars, and that's how you win the game. Now, don't fret if you don't manage to win. The game actually starts over Groundhog Day style from the beginning, but you keep all your stats, you keep all the buildings that you've built, you keep all the buffs that you've accumulated, and all the gains that you've gotten, and you give it another run. And I actually kind of like that idea. I think that's pretty sweet. So for right now, there's a few things we need to worry about. Let's talk about the UI up in the top left corner of the screen, since that's what we're going to be focused on for a big chunk of the game. Top left-hand corner, the little meter that goes orange to white at the absolute top left is your heat meter. If that gets down to the bottom, you start losing health. In addition, there's a smaller little area that rings it. You can kind of see it in gray. That's how wet you are from the rain or the snow or whatever else. The thing underneath that with the little white pips, that's your willpower. You can use that to automatically pass skill checks. Above that, you've got the green meter. That's going to be your stamina, aka your tiredness. And then the red meter is your health. If that gets down to 0, you die. You get a flat stat reduction permanently, and then you continue after waking up in the morning. We've got money, 20 bucks, and it's 16C outside, which I assume is around middle 60s, so we should be okay. I'm not going to do most of the quest stuff. it's just kind of, it takes a long time to get a lot of the quest things done, and there's lots of conversation and everything, and I'm more interested in showing off the gameplay, so that's what we're going to do here today for about 30 minutes. At the beginning of the game, there's a couple little tips that I can give you as a new player to sort of like start your way. Our base is over here on the right. It's going to be this large concrete paddock right here. Once we start getting items and crafting materials, we can build a Rust-style base over here that we live inside of to keep us warm throughout the winter and the colder season. There's also a workbench over here. There's also some debris piles, and most importantly, there's actually storage. You have a stash, and I didn't notice this until I was like really far into the game. You start with 20 kilograms of stash space, and you can just put stuff in there as time goes along. I would definitely recommend you do that because like inventory space is at a premium. We've started out with basic gear. We've got a holy shirt, we've got the holy pants, we've got worn out sneakers, 5 bandages, we've got scratch card, and we've got 5 lockpicks and that bottle that I returned. Or that bottle that I picked up out of a box. So it's up to you what you want to do. Let's try our scratcher out real fast. See if I want to see if we get anything off of our scratcher. Because like early money would be really, really nice. So we've got 36, 20, and 29. We've got to match those up. I've actually, hey, there's a 29 right there. Hold up. We got a 29. Come on. Don't skunk me like this. Let's go. If you've got, hey, so 20 and 29. We got 2 of the numbers right there. 36? Ah, okay. So I think we got paid 30 right there is what we got out of that. That's good, though. That 30 bucks is actually really, really going to help us. We want to loot around a little bit to see if we can find some supplementary materials to help us get through the day. There's going to be a number of stats that you have in this game. If you go through, I'll show you the character sheet. We've got our inventory with our max carry weight. We've got our status right here, which is our health, our energy, our food, our morale, our warmth, our dryness, how drunk we are, how poisoned we are, how ill we are, how badly we have to go to the bathroom, and how bad we smell. We also have buffs that we're getting from our base, and then debuffs over here. Here's our knowledge level. As of right now inside the game, there's speech, which is you talking to people. There's begging, which is you getting money off people. There's trading, which is obviously you bartering with people. There's stealing, which is self-explanatory. There's dumpster diving, crafting, and lockpicking, but I don't know if they have plans to add more skills to the game. I honestly hope that they do, because the game is actually pretty large. I went through my 4 or 5 hour stream playing this game almost instantaneously, which is how you know I was really having a good time with it. I found this game to really be sort of a sleeper. And it's a shame because like there's so many of these sim games that when they come in at least 3 to 4 a week, I kind of roll my eyes and I'm just like, yeah, not another sim game. But in the case of this one, it actually was kind of in defiance of that. It's pretty cool. So by starting out, we need to start going through some dumpsters and leveling up our stats. Our energy is also diminishing at a decent rate, so we're going to have to figure that out. The dumpster diving is pretty simple. You kind of pan around with WASD, and each of those black squares can either have nothing underneath it, loot underneath it, or it can have a mine underneath it. This is effectively Minesweeper. So we know that there's a mine right there. Our dumpster diving is level 1, which means we get 1 warning, and then after that, any mine that we hit is going to deal damage to our clothing, and it's going to make us smellier. So I'm going to leave that right where it lies. We picked up a couple of generic drinks right there, so we got a generic alcohol, and we got a generic drink. Basically, you can empty out people's empties, and they get accumulated in these little stacks right here. But these have a tendency to make you, like, really, really sick, so I would avoid going too crazy on the strained drinks. It'll add up over time. And we already found a mine right there, but we did get a cigarette butt, so we got like a little roach right there. We can check the coin slots on that. We didn't really get anything. Coin slots on that side, though, we got $7, so that's good. With this dumpster right here, oh, we already hit our mine. If you're wondering why I'm not trying to go through and find like all the mines and all the loot, it's because destroying your clothing early on in the game, our clothing is giving us extra carrying capacity right now, and as the durability goes down, we're going to lose that carrying capacity until we have enough fabric to repair our clothes. And so like, until you have yourself like really secure on resources and whatnot, I would avoid taking any heavy damage to like your equipment if you can help it. And we got another dumpster over. Ah, I accidentally hit that one. Feels bad. Okay, so we hit 2 of those. Feels bad. Let's move over here. There is a little fly noise that you'll get when you're near a landmine. It's really, really hard to hear, though. I would recommend maybe they turn it up a little bit. There's a weird cheese right there, and we've already hit a mine. Okay. Well, let's just keep going through dumpsters until we see if we find anything good. We can also beg from people. It looks like... How badly did that hurt my clothing? It hurt my boots a little bit, but we should be okay. Hopefully we'll luck into some rad stuff that we find in a dumpster somewhere. Ah. Hey, that one we did a great job. So we got some junk right there. We got a cigarette butt, little more junk. And as you can see, we got +3 to our dumpster diving. The amount of XP you get is proportionate to how many squares you uncover. We got some pots and pans right there. That's really, really good. We can use that to make a cook fire at our camp. Not right now. The building is like a really, really long-term goal. So I wouldn't focus on it too heavily. Let's see if we can beg from somebody real fast. No thanks. Okay. You got anything for me, bro? What about you? You got anything? Nope. Leave me. Okay. I'll do like everybody else in your life, and I'm going to leave you alone. There's already a mine right there that we already hit. Any of you guys got anything for me? Nope. Nobody's got anything for me. Chicken bones. I think those are for a quest, if I remember correctly. We got a bottle right there. That's worth $2 if we turn it into the recycler. We got this. Oh, dude, I accidentally double tapped right there. That's my bad. There's also a mini game inside of here. Sometimes you'll find uncovered loot, and you've got to like dig for it. I'll see if we get that to come up at some point. I don't know if that's actually gonna like come up, but maybe later. If you're wondering why I'm collecting the cigarette butts, it's because later on in the game we can actually take the tobacco out of cigarette butts and we can roll them into kind of like Lucy's basically, which is actually a great way to get your morale back. That lady's going into the bathroom, so I'm not going to bother her right now. Take a look and see if we can get some dumpster trash over here. We already hit a mine right there. What about you? You got anything? Hey! All right, so we're going to talk to him. Have you ever thought about changing your life, my friend, and opening your heart to the purity and truth of our Savior? Yeah, every day before I go to sleep. So that's going to give us a beg chance right there. It's a little bit higher. Ah, we failed. I'm going to try to converse with him again, but he doesn't have time to talk with me. Begging is really, really good in the beginning of the game because it doesn't come with any downsides. If you fail at begging, like, nothing bad happens to you. And so, like, beg as much as possible in the beginning of the game. I promise it'll be worth it. We also need to turn in our scratcher. Oh, there's a thug right there. This guy's going to try to rob me. What's going on? Ugh, look at you all poor and whatnot. You don't have anything worthwhile. I'm going to go find somebody else. Yeah, these guys are muggers, so you got to watch out for them. They show up in random places, usually dark and dingy places like tunnels, alleys, stuff like that. If you have too much money on you, they'll rob you and take like a big chunk of your cash, like 30%. We're getting really unlucky with some of these dumpster choices here. The buildings are all enterable, so all of these things are like businesses and stuff that you can enter on into. You can make friends with people inside these buildings. You can also like lockpick stuff and like steal things if you're feeling particularly brazen. You can also beg inside of here, which is what I'm doing right now, but nobody seems particularly interested in helping your boy out. Nope, nobody. This right here I think is a bistro or something like that. Hey, conversation. Last night we had a party at the community center. Rock music and moonshine. Sounds good. Ah, he didn't get us. You should always do as many of your skill checks as you possibly can because you get XP whether or not you succeed. I actually really, really like the fact that this game allows you to fail upwards. So even though you're not successful, that doesn't mean that it was useless. You still get XP and whatnot just for making the attempt. And in fact, you're going to be making a lot of attempts as the game goes along. But by the time you get up to like begging 5, begging 6, begging 7 and whatnot, you should start seriously getting a lot of money from people. I converse with you. Must be hard on you, I know, but it's the universe's will, so, you know, learn something. It's not as bad as it might seem at first glance. My begging didn't work. It said she was an easy begging target, too. We got $4 out of that change machine right there. Nobody wants to talk to me over here. Hey, there's another one. Do you know where I can get some vegetarian food around here? Nope, no idea. Unfortunately, we didn't succeed. So we're moving along, man. The beginning of the game's a little bit rough like that because you haven't learned how to work people yet and play on their... Oh, a spectacular find. There we go. Oh, I failed it. My bad. What did we get? Oh, a free bandage. Nice. Ooh, another spectacular find. 2 in 1 dumpster. Every time I'm failing this minigame, by the way, I'm taking damage to my durability. $47. That's actually like really, really good. That should carry us for the first day. If we can get like 1 bag off and get like another 30 or 40 crowns from somebody else, I think we're going to be in really good shape. We should be able to tend these meters no problem. We're also picking up a little bit of cash here and there just out of the sight of like coin slots and whatnot. Already struck out on that one. There's a church over here. There is a job bureau. I think it's back on that street over there, or maybe it's down over here. There's a job bureau. You can pick up jobs, like things like busting rocks with a pickaxe, picking up trash in the park, stuff like that. And it does pay pretty well. So if you're looking for like a financial come up, those quests usually take like a really small piece of the day. And in that small piece of the day, you'll get like $100 to $150 for completing the task, which can really, really help you out. That's enough money to basically keep you squared away for about 3/4 of a day. Yeah, I think it's over here, the job bureau anyways. Let's go talk to somebody at the job bureau. Yeah, I can't stress enough, there are quests and there is a storyline to this game. I'm just not doing it because if we dive super deep into that, you'll never get to see any of the actual, like, homeless mechanics. It'll just be me running around looking for stuff, but I mean, there's combat, there's fighting. The combat is a little lame. Like, the combat is, like, text-based. I would definitely like it if they added combat that was kind of similar to, like, Kingdom Come Deliverance with, like, a punch and, like, a block, basically, so that you can box with people. Hey, what do you got going on? Hello. Greetings. What can I do for you? Can I sign up for a job? You should if you're looking for one. Cool. Here's a card with your database ID. You can now stop by from time to time and see if we have work for you. All right. Are there any jobs? Yeah, street sweeping. That sounds good. Let's go do the street sweeping then. The street sweeping, if we go to our map real fast, it's going to be behind us. Okay. I think there was a thug in the alley over here. Yeah, there's a thug in the alley over there. So we don't want to go that way because we'll get robbed. And I've got, like, actually, like, money on me right now that I'd rather not lose. Grab a couple of those. You there with the fuzzy jacket. You got anything for me? I'm having a bad time right now going through these dumpsters. Not getting real lucky at the moment. So we're not really getting any skill ups because we're not uncovering enough of the squares. There are a couple dumpsters over here, though, that we could play around with. Well, it went about as mad as I thought it was going to go. The lockpicking in this game is fundamentally, like, identical to Skyrim or Fallout, if you've ever played that. Dude, how am I keep picking the wrong direction to go, and there's just no way to know. You hear the fly noise, but you got to pick to go, like, in one of the cardinal directions, and until you do, a medium find, eh? Multiple medium finds. Medium find number 1 was a printer. It took me 4 or 5 attempts to get it done, but the printer should give us a bunch of electronics. Let's see what's going on with this one. It's soap. Nice, dude. We got ourselves a soap right there, which is probably good because I failed on that a bunch of times. Yeah, my gear's getting all tore up. That's a feels bad. I'm going to have to relax on some of those challenges. The good news is every single time you fail at that little reflex-based minigame, you do get dumpster diving XP, so it may be worth it for you to kind of go through and do it like a bunch of times just to force a couple dumpster diving levels. It's up to you to decide if that's worth it. We should get a little bit of XP right there. Where is this trash collection spot? It's like that way? Okay. Yeah, let's go over here and see if we can get this job done before the end of the day so that we can collect a nice paycheck. Here's the trash. So we got to pick up like 20 of these. I'm going to get to that, and I'm going to start knocking out these trashes, and then we'll come back after I get them all. All right, there's the last of our trash. So the quest is updated. I've just got to take the trash back to the job bureau, and we'll get paid, and we should have enough money to make it through our first day. I got to crash for a minute and sleep. We're going to lose warmth while we're sleeping because your resistance to cold goes down, but our energy meter is getting a little bit too low, and so I got to get on top of that. These park benches are effectively the easiest way to do it, and then as you get through the game, you start getting upgrades like cardboard blankets and stuff that make it easier for you to rest out in locations. When you get to those little pips on the side after like a long rest session, you get little bonuses and things basically for like unbroken sleep. Unfortunately for right now, our cold resistance is too low, so we're not going to get any of the bonuses. But later on, once we have like nicer clothing and we have the ability to kind of like weather this a little bit, it'll be a lot easier to go through. Either way, taking our vitality up, or our stamina up from like, you know, 60-ish to a higher level is a smart idea. All of my begging attempts have not gone very well, spoiler alert. But let's go ahead and we'll go back and turn this in. I think I came back from this way, but I don't recall exactly. I'm still learning to navigate the city. It's larger than it appears, and there's lots and lots of things around to get lost in. So anyways, we'll try to hit some dumpsters on the way past, too, just to kind of make sure that we're always advancing our skills. Those are all locked down, so we can't get into them. This guy right here I already looted. The trash does regenerate. Ah, shit, dude, run. Nope, running. Not stopping. Please help me. Anybody, I'm under attack. Help me. No! Dude, why is there never a cop around when you need a cop? There's one. There's one. Help me. No! I almost made it to the cop. I was so close. Luckily, I don't have enough money for him to rob me. I think you need to have like 150, I think you need to have around 150 bucks before they start robbing you. So, like, just don't carry around a lot of money. Either that or get a really awesome weapon. If you get a weapon, you can fight them off. There we go. We got 100 bucks for that one. No temp jobs available. We got to wait till... Yeah, we got to wait till this ticks up to 10. So basically, there's kind of like an internal cooldown on stuff. Like, you ever play Sunless Sea? There's that buff called Something Awaits, and, like, you can only do certain actions when you have Something Awaits. It's the same thing in this game. You kind of got to wait for things to recharge. But that 100 bucks should be helpful. Well... Our begging has gone terribly today. Not one person has gone for it. A spectacular find. I bet it's not that... Oh, it's a chocolate bar, dude. Hell yeah. That'll refill my willpower. And willpower is something we desperately need in order to auto pass checks. We're back to where we first came out right here. I think we can turn in the lotto ticket over here for like another 30 bucks. And then I'm going to try to get to the supermarket without getting robbed. And see if we can buy some basic equipment to get started in the game. Did I already check this? I did not. And then that one I already checked, though. So, into the convenience store. Oh, apparently he doesn't want the lottery ticket over here. Okay, fair enough. Like, where I live, you turn in lottery tickets at gas stations, so I assumed that I would turn it in on over here. Now I don't remember where I turned that in all honesty. I turned it in, like, somewhere. There's lots of things you can buy in this game, everything from, like, porn to cigarettes. They all have varying effects on your stats and, like, make you feel better in different ways. It's up to you when you want to get those. My morale is unfortunately pretty low right now, so I'm going to pop this beer right here just to give that a little tipple and, like, move it up ever so slightly. I'm also going to eat the chocolate bar, I think. Yeah, we'll eat the chocolate bar real fast just to kind of, like, square away our stats. I don't have a lot of things that I can get rid of right now. There is a pawn shop, so if you find anything that has the word, like, antique or, like, interesting or anything else in it, take it to the pawn shop. The pawn shop is down this alley right here on the right. If you go down that alley right there, it's over on the right. I think a big part of this game is actually just learning where everything's at, in all honesty. There we go. This guy will take my scratcher. So there's 30 bucks for the scratcher. There are utility items you can get in this game, thing like condoms. You can get bus passes. You can get laser pointers. I haven't figured out what the use is yet for the laser pointer. You can get a flashlight so that you can see better at night. There's lots of little things that you can add onto your characters that are kind of like side grades that make existing just like a little bit easier. Can I please have some money? You want money for what? Booze, drugs, or cigarettes? Another example of a person willingly climbing down the ladder of social status and leaning towards utter loss and essence of life. Can I just, like, have some money, though? Like, I don't like being in this situation. Man, nobody wants to help me out. Although this guy said there's free furniture at the cinema, so that might be worth checking out, although I have no idea where the cinema's at, so that's going to be... Ooh, we got a bunch of winners over here. Hey, that guy gave me 28 bucks, dude. Nice. And I got a bunch of begging points for it. Hell yeah. Yeah, we already hit the mine on that one. All right, so here's the supermarket. If you're too stinky, you can't come inside the supermarket. I think also if you're drunk, you're not allowed to come in here. We can sell off the bottles we found to get a little bit of extra cash. What we need is we're going to need food. So I'll take like 3 bread rolls. We're going to need morale. So, like, I would consider... Let's get 2 coffees for the energy, and then I'm just going to buy porn for morale. I think that's my best bet for right now, because porn refills your morale meter entirely. And so, like, I'll probably just go... I don't know if... Did they have it at the tobacconist over here, dude? Is that something that they had? The old guys have never once ever given me anything. I don't even know if they can give you anything, in all honesty, but we're almost at the end of our first day. It's going to start getting cold soon. These guys did indeed have porn, so there you go. We've got porn now. That should help us out. I found a beer in a trash can, which is where I drank that beer from, just because chicken bones. I think these chicken bones are for, there's a guy that cooks down in the homeless camp, and I think if you give it to him, it raises your reputation with him or something like that. But I don't remember. There's lots of weird little interactions in this game with the quest givers and the characters. Like, there's tons of interactable characters, like in the church. There's like 4 or 5 hobo camps that are all over the town that all have their motley assortment of people that all have quests and tasks that they want you to do. A risky compote. Well, I guess I'll take the risky compote for now. We'll swoop around the back, see if we can find a few more things to make a fire tonight so that we don't get too cold. We can dig out of these garbage piles once we have a perk, but you've got to talk to somebody. This game uses kind of like a Gothic-style system where you talk to people and you pay them, and they will teach you survival skills. Oh, okay. There's a tire. Cool. We can deploy that in our base. It's not useful right now, but it will be useful like later on. All right, so we've got a unfinished Coke, we got a bus ticket, we've got some leftovers right there. We do have a spectacular find right here. I don't know if I want to go for it, though. Like, our clothing is pretty shredded up, and I haven't found enough fabric to repair my clothing yet, so I may just leave it. I know that'll bother some people because, like, they're really, really loot-focused, but I found that this is a game of, like, kind of calculated risks, where if I pass on that item, I don't take any penalty, but if I spend like a bunch of time trying to hit the skill check on it, I'll probably shred my clothing even worse than it's already shredded, and after the amount of times I messed up on that last medium check, I just feel like it's going to backfire on me. I don't feel like it's going to work out. We can go back to the homeless camp now. There is a public fire over here on the right that you can stand next to all night. Nighttime's kind of boring in this game. There's not a whole lot going on. Once you have enough weather resistance, you can stay out at night, and like that'll allow you opportunities to kind of like steal and lockpick and kind of burglarize and like get into places that you're not supposed to be. But for right now, we don't have that resistance. Oh, cool. There's wood in there. Nice. Take that. I'll take that. Is there anything else laying around? Everything inside of here is going to be somebody's property, and they get bummed out when you steal from them. Hey, fabric. Nice. And we got some felt. Sweet. The felt is going to be for roofing. That asphalt plate right there, that's felt. That's what you put down before you put shingles on a house, and I only know that because I was a roofer. So there you go. I was a roofer. On your Splattercat bingo cards, those of you that had mentions being a roofer, you can go ahead and check that off right now. See if you can get yourself a sweet-ass bingo. Let's see. There's more loot inside of here, I think, but it might be stealing. Yeah, I think it's stealing, but it's okay. I'm not that upset about it. Let me see if I can unlock this real fast for the lockpicking XP. There's nothing in there that I actually want to steal. I can find all that stuff in trash cans. I try to only steal things that I can't get from trash cans. 5 lockpicks, for example, I'll definitely steal because lockpicks are kind of like hard to come by. But you take a morale hit for stealing, so just like keep that in mind. It's getting dark, so I'm going to find a fire and we're going to sit next to it until daybreak. There's not really much else you can do at night at this phase of the game, so see you then. Well, we're about midway through the nighttime right now. It's not like a perfect situation, but we're kind of getting towards the dawn hours. So let's head back, and the last thing that I wanted to show you guys before we take off is I wanted to show you guys the crafting system, which is largely inaccessible right now because we're a brand new homeless person, but it is actually quite in-depth. There's all kinds of things that you can build. That's really the thing that surprised me about this game is like the more I played it and the more I looked for depth, the more that I found it. And like covering games every single day, I've sort of become accustomed to the fact that most of the time when I go digging for depth in games, I don't find it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna throw that in there for right there. And so anyways, that's what really, really surprised me about this game is like, okay, I wanted to do, you know, combat. Okay, there's like some depth there. I wanted to do this activity. There's depth there. I wanted to do this or that or the other. And every single time, there's like these multiple layers of mechanics that are laid on top of each other that you don't necessarily expect from a game that looks like this game, effectively. And so I would say, like, well done, developers. You managed to make a pretty cool homeless survival sim that doesn't rely too heavily on making fun of the situation, while at the same time being lightweight enough that the game isn't like a giant downer fest. On top of that, the mechanics that they've implemented are all there. Like, there's things for you to discover and kind of like get involved with, and like even after 4 or 5 hours, I'm still exploring the game and like finding things and finding like opportunities and like stuff that I can accomplish along the way that sort of aids my goals. And you don't really necessarily have to worry about beating the game on the first 30-day cycle. You can push for it if you want, but I mean, since the whole game loops, it's not really that big of a deal. You can take your time and really just kind of soak in the world. My only real complaints about this game as of right now is I don't like the text-based combat. I think that could definitely be spruced up and made into something more active and immersive, because they've done a really good job with the immersive aspects of the other parts of the game. I'm also not a huge fan of the death penalty. When you die in this game, you lose your stats permanently, and you can never get them back, which means that if you're going for like a long multi-cycle playthrough, effectively you should just restart if you're within like the first 20 days or so, because you're not going to be able to reclaim that lost ground. You're always going to have less health capacity. You're always going to have less stamina capacity. I would suggest that there's a couple things that they could do about that mechanic right there to make it a little bit more satisfying for the player. I would just make it so that when you die, you drop all the stuff on you except for what you have equipped, and then you just wake up over here on the next day. The other option that they could have is they could have like training, and they could have sort of ways to buy your stats back effectively, so that, and make it expensive, you know, so that it's like a big deal getting your stats back, so that the punishment still feels real, but otherwise can be sort of negated with a lot of work and a lot of focus and a lot of saving and scrimping and finding an opportunity to do it. The permanent stat loss is one of those things that, like, I'm not a massive fan of on a game that's supposed to be sort of endless like Stardew Valley. So anyways, the crafting that you can take part in, there's a bunch of it. You can go to the workbench, you can convert junk into higher level junk that you can use for building, you can make ponchos for right now. You're going to unlock a lot more stuff as the game goes along too. Like, we don't have it all unlocked right now. As you find things in dumpsters and you have ideas, you'll actually get access to more stuff. I mean, we have the ability to repair our clothing right now if that's something that you wanted to do. You can dismantle objects like that printer or those pots or those pans that we found. That'll give you a little bit of crafting XP. We're kind of limited on what we can do right now with our crafting at the beginning of the game. It's kind of like a long-term goal to build up your base. But anyways, they said that there was furniture at the cinema and there was furniture at the radio station from my random begging sessions while I was making cuts, and so we can probably get some freebies like a chair or like a mattress or something over here. It'd actually be nice to be able to deploy a mattress next to this fire over here so that I can sleep in comfort. Might be an idea to think about. And so anyways, thank you for stopping on in. This is Hobo Tough Life. I hope you guys liked the play. I hope you guys give this game a shot. It's rare that, like, I talk about how much I like a game, but after spending a lot of time with this one, I've really been liking it. It's not much of a looker, but I'll tell you what, it is a player. And so anyways, thank you for stopping on in. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. I'll be back tomorrow doing the exact same thing. It will very likely be something else, but hey, I'll see you all later. Bye.